Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
Oh
Welcome
shit.
to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. We got Ace and Ant this week.
Yes, up. Seems like we all keep missing each other. I guess you had just Malik last week, right?
Yeah, it was the first week of the season this week, so I think that's why. I think he fell asleep watching the game. A lot going on down in Atlanta. So off top, RIP Rich Homie Quan. Sad to hear that news. But we're gonna get into
Yeah.
these picks for y'all real quick. Green Bay at Philadelphia. Being
Philly.
played. I know, being played. I don't think either team is actually wearing green. They're playing in Sao Paulo. We've been talking about this game since last year, or since we were ending on basketball season, and even the Olympic basketball we were talking about a little bit. Right now, Philadelphia is only favored by 2.5 points, so they just got to win by a field goal. I feel pretty good about that. Both the teams have been down there for a couple of days. I think like a week earlier to adjust because they're actually an hour ahead. Most people don't know that, but Brazil is an hour ahead of Philadelphia on the East Coast. I don't know if Green Bay's on Central Time. I just think it is, but I guess they're adjusting. The over-under is 49.5. Philadelphia's got a lot of young dudes on defense. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to pick Philly. I think they're just a better team overall, and things have gotten kind of squared with Nick Sirianni as the coach. And they got a new offensive coordinator, so things should get figured out. And I just don't have faith in Green Bay's defense. It's more their offense that I believe. Who you taking it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Philly. I'm taking Philly, and I'm going to go with the under in this one. You said how much you said it was gonna be? You
Two
said
and a half.
49? 2.5?
Yeah, that's what FanDuel has it at, -2.5. That's the line that I've been using. MGM has them as -2.5. I guess the money's coming in pretty much even.
Yeah, I'm still taking Philly on this one. They got the better team. They still not that many people talk about. Maybe people in New York, but not all over the place. They stole Saquon Barkley from the Giants. That's a big difference. They definitely going to we're definitely going to be seeing a shift in their offense. They're going away from. I believe they're going to be going away from that going that Philly push or whatever they used to call it, whatever. They're going to go. They're going to go more to a more traditional run game. They're going to open up all their wide receivers and stuff like that. We're going to see a different change in here. I'm definitely going to take Philly. They got the most stacked team, and quite even though I'm still working on this, my quite predictions of who I'm going to have in the Super Bowl. I quite already in my mind. I'm already predicting that Philadelphia is going to be the team to represent their end. But
NFC.
I don't. You're right. The NFC. I don't feel. I really don't feel the Green Bay Packers right now. They did a little. They might have did a little bump last year, whatever. But I think they're gonna come back to earth this year, so I don't think I'm not really feeling heavy on them yet. I got to see exactly how things go, maybe the first 4 weeks. But so I'm just like you, Ace. I'm going to go with Philadelphia and taking it under.
All right, that game is on Friday night. It feels weird having a Friday night football game on.
Yeah, they don't need to. They need to not do that anymore because especially for people down in the South, I think they want to equate Friday night games with high school games and stuff like that. They don't want to be mixing it with the NFL and stuff like that. They got other
not,
things to do.
not just the South, but pretty much anywhere but anywhere that's not like New York City.
Right.
So the
I guess I'm
Midwest.
saying from my New York being from originally from New York, I'm just thinking about it
Yeah,
that way. But every big city everywhere, you're correct on that.
yeah, because New York City games actually happen on Saturdays. They happen on like Saturday afternoons. I don't know if most people know that. So if you're playing football in New York City, you're playing on a Saturday afternoon. And I think even in Massachusetts, where I'm at, a lot of the games happen like Saturday at like 1 or Saturday at like 2, which is usually college football time. That's
Right.
usually when most of the high school games. A couple of them happen like Friday night at like 7, but most of the fields up here don't have lights on them. So they play in the afternoon, so they don't have to, so they can cut down on that, which is why you usually don't get a lot of top prospects coming out of Massachusetts going to the pros. That's kind of a rare thing up here. Not too many local products, or in New York, Massachusetts, or in the Northeast in general. Um, but I digress. Next up, focus on my Chicago Bears, the first game, the number 1 overall pick, and touching on Hard Knocks. I still don't think it's the most boring one that I've seen. It kind of reminds me of the first time they went to Kansas City way back in the day when Herm Edwards was the coach. The coach
Right.
had a little bit of personality, but kind of understated. But I heard that the McCaskey family didn't want anybody cursing on film being released, which is why it seemed so tame and so like meta and mellow throughout the entire process. So that's why
Uh,
you didn't hear anybody saying anything crazy like the Ravens or
uh,
the wildest one to me, which was Cincinnati, but it was just all cussing and everybody mean mugging the cameras and dudes just going off on each other in practice. That one
but
showed like that one made me feel like I was actually in training camp with them.
and see, that's kind of messed up though, because the thing is that Hard Knocks supposed to be raw, uncut, or whatever. It does feel that it's it didn't feel right to me. It felt like everything was just staged. I mean,
Sanitized, right?
right.
Yeah.
Everything's sanitized and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, every year Hard Knocks have the same type of formula or whatever like that. But yeah, it kind of messed everything up. To me, it kind of messed things up because that's where you get more of a personalities and you can see these players or whatever like that. And we kind of missed out on that, unfortunately.
I think Chicago's pretty
But
settled and not too many position battles because everybody who came in, they kind of
right,
knew who was going to be on the team for real. So there was nobody really battling to be a starter. Like there were no questions about that. They kind of had the roster set. So I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of boring. We're going to see if there's any rookies that make the jump. So shout out to my guy Austin Reed who made the practice squad, and hopefully they bring that offensive lineman back, the Canadian Eagle there, who kind of became famous in the first episode. But going back to these picks, the line started out at -5 for Chicago. It's gone down to -3.5. Chicago has to win by 4 points. Tennessee doesn't have much of a solid offense. DeAndre Hopkins is banged up. They did bring in better wide receivers. So that is a big move for them, is whether or not Will Levis can execute on that. This is a new head coach, second year, I believe.
yeah,
So
he kind of shaped himself up in the second year. He looks totally different from the first year, in my opinion.
no Derrick
Different
Henry.
limelight.
Yeah, no Derrick Henry era anymore. And what I find really, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like seeing him on the Ravens scoring a touchdown, it's like they're gonna miss this guy. He was a real weapon
Hmm.
for them, and it's really gonna show itself, I believe, in this game because the Bears' run defense really improved last year after they got after they got my guy Montez Sweat. The whole defense changed. They signed Calvin Ridley and brought back DeAndre Hopkins and still got Treylon Burks. He's in his third year. He was their rookie wide receiver, but they brought him back. And he's going to be their number 4. The number 3 wide receiver is kind of banged up right now, but I really don't know who that is. So Treylon Burks is going to be the third, and they got Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins. So they got the Pollard, Tajay Spears backfield. So we'll see what goes with there. Mason Rudolph is the backup, so we know Will Levis is kind of like the base level of what they're going to do. They traded the other guy so that they wouldn't have the quarterback controversy. So Will Levis wouldn't have somebody breathing down his neck, and they didn't have to worry about him trying to push for his spot. But I didn't think that was going to happen in Tennessee anyway. But I just believe that Chicago has a much better defense and a much better offense. They got Jamal Adams, and they're listing him as their strong safety number 2. This was the team that went out and got Devondre Sweat and L'Jarius Sneed and Jeffrey Simmons. So they stole a bunch of different, free agents from all over. I think Simmons might have been there last year. They got a bunch of different free agents from all over. Sweat's a rookie. He's a huge nose tackle out of Georgia. I don't have much faith in Tennessee's offensive line, and I think DeAndre Hopkins has lost his step. They're going to be able to cover them pretty easily. I have more faith in Chicago because they're at home and because of what I saw Caleb Williams do in the preseason. And Will Levis really only had one good game, and that was against the Dolphins, which was kind of a miracle. So I'm taking my Bears, and I'm going to lay those points. And I think no matter what this game is going to go over. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game, so I'm taking the over on the 45, on the 44.5 points. Who you got?
Hopkins and Ridley originally used to be number 1 type of receivers. Right now, I feel that they both fell off. I don't trust the Condiment King, aka Mr. Mayonnaise, Will Levis. Yes, I'm calling him the Condiment King because he loves mayonnaise in his coffee. I think he takes mayonnaise everywhere else. But anyway, Corey, I'm definitely going to take your Bears on this one, Ace. I'm taking them. I'll even go with the over on this one. The Bears is at home. This come out game. Quite, if you're going to see something special, everybody keeps talking about your new quarterback, and I think that you guys might actually quite struck gold on this one. You're going to definitely see what happens when the real defense steps up with him. But so far, so good. No matter what he was doing, we all seen it, or if we watch Hard Knocks, and we all seen it in the actual live games that he actually played when he had a chance. So definitely taking the Bears, definitely taking over. Bear down. Let's go with that.
Bear down is right. I like this enthusiasm from you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Let's see.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, let's see how long it lasts with me. But I'm going by my script that I have here. I kind of stole my own NFL script version of 8 pages, and I made my own circle. So I have the Bears winning this game. So I really how do you like this team? How do they put together?
All right. And for the next game, we're going to be picking out of Houston and Indianapolis, which is an AFC South matchup. I think one of these two teams will be winning this division. Mainly, I'm leaning towards Houston winning the division, but I think this game will be whoever wins this will have a huge advantage throughout the rest of the season. What's interesting to me about this, Anthony Richardson will be starting his 17th game in total in his career. No, this will be his 18th game started in his career since high school. Since high school. He's only started 17 games in total since high school at quarterback. He's an amazing player. He's coming back from a crazy injury. CJ Stroud is the quarterback, obviously, for Houston, Rookie of the Year. Houston is going to Indianapolis. Both of these teams playing a dome, so weather's not really going to be a factor. Houston is -3 at BetMGM, -2.5 on FanDuel, so you might want to buy it there so you don't got to buy the hook if you think they can win by a field goal. The over-under is pretty high. It's 48.5. They don't believe in either of these teams' defenses. I'm going to let you go first on this one since you are out of Texas. So, go ahead.
Well, I'm definitely taking Houston on this one. It was kind of hard for me to actually pick this one. I was literally taking maybe a couple of minutes, maybe 15 minutes to decide on this one. Because the thing is that both teams are quite got young quarterbacks in there. The only thing that's quite got me a little worried about Houston is that they added in what's the name from the receiver from the Bills. I don't know why his name slipped me right now.
Stefon
Diggs. Right, Diggs. To me, they didn't really need Diggs, but he's just like the icing on the cake type of thing. But I want to see what happens when Diggs don't get the ball. Would it be good chemistry? Little stuff like that. I also want to see how good their run game is going to be this year. But I'm definitely going to be picking Houston. I'm definitely going to go with Vegas and taking that over and stuff like that. This is going to be a high scoring game and stuff like that. Unless something happens with Indianapolis, but it's going to be kind of hard to see how Richardson comes back this year. Hopefully, he has a good year, but coming back from an injury like that is, it does take some time to get yourself acclimated back into the game. But instead of me rambling on, I'm just going to take Houston once again, and I'm taking it over.
Now, what's crazy is I have a lot of players on Indianapolis on my fantasy team, namely Jonathan Taylor. So I need to believe that he's going to have a good game. I have Adonai Mitchell on like 2 of my teams, who's the speedster out of Texas, who's very fast but not a great route runner. He's kind of pushed Alec Pierce down on the depth chart, who was a rookie out of Cincinnati a couple of years ago, who was kind of just like a deep threat. Probably a little bit better of a route runner. Michael Pittman Jr. is the number 1. Josh Downs is working through an injury. He's a second-year receiver. He's number 2. Joe Flacco's the backup just in case Anthony Richardson gets hurt. That's how much they believe in this team. They got 3 QBs they're taking. They got
one thing good about having Joe Flacco, just remind me, one thing about having Joe Flacco now is that he's not coming off the couch from home, so, he'd be in better shape. But anyway, sorry about turning to interrupt you.
No, he's been in there all offseason, and he'll know the system. And Shane Steichen is the reason why I think the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, because he schemed up an offense that really worked. And with him and Richardson being able to work all year, I lean towards the over, but for whatever reason, I just know that Houston has a much better defense than Indianapolis. The fact that Houston was able to win a home playoff game with a rookie, spending all that draft capital, made it completely worth it, which is it's wild, but like them getting Diggs makes it even tougher on Indianapolis because now their 3rd wide receiver is Tank Dell.
You see why I had a little trouble to pick who to pick on this, right?
Yeah.
All these little things there. But anyway.
But Jonathan Taylor is going to have to show improvement. He's had a healthy, full offseason. He got paid, so and no worries from him. The main advantage is Houston has a much better tight end and much better pass rushers. That is what I do know. The offensive line should be a little bit better than Houston's, but we will see. That is yet to be seen. But I'm gonna take the road favorite, which is kind of wild. The line opened up at -1.5 and moved all the way up to 3. Because people always like, as long as it's under 3, it's 3 even in most of the sports books now. But yeah, I would lean heavy on that if you really like this one. We are going to skip to a game that I think will kind of be an eliminator for both of these teams. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record, and Kirk Cousins got paid all of that money guaranteed to go to Atlanta and show them something. Their GM took him and Michael Penix Jr., so we're going to see how that works with all of those wide receivers they got down there. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are now in Pittsburgh, and we're going to see how the Russell Wilson era in Pittsburgh goes and if he can get Mike Tomlin fired, or he'll give him his first losing record ever. 17 seasons?
Yeah, long time.
16 years of 8-8 or better, which is amazing. In 3 decades now, right? 2000s, 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s. He's not retiring anytime soon. I know, it's insane.
Just think about it. The coach before him was
Cowher.
Cowher, and that's years ago. People only know Cowher now as being on TV.
Most people don't even remember him coaching. They really do not. He won that Super Bowl. He got out of there, and then Tomlin won that Super Bowl in his second or third year, and he should have been their guy. And I like the fact that they trust him so much. They got rid of Deontay Johnson. They moved up the number 1 receiver to be George Pickens, as it should be. Van Jefferson is number 2. They still have Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth. The backfield kind of worries me a little bit, but they got Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, so they should be good. And Russell Wilson can run somewhat of an offense that Arthur Smith can actually give him something to work with and work to his skills. I think that Pittsburgh is going to be a problem. They have a much better defense. They're getting 3.5 points in Atlanta. It's a dome game. They still got TJ Watt. They still got the best defense. And Connor Hayward, Cam Hayward, his little brother, who plays tight end and running back and fullback. So this guy kind of pretty much does everything. Connor Hayward. Cam Hayward is the defensive guy. Connor Hayward is is his little brother who plays tight end, running back, and fullback, which is kind of wild at Michigan State. I'm taking Pittsburgh because they're getting points on the road, and I just need Kirk Cousins to prove it to me. This man is coming off of an Achilles tear, and if he's not able to move around in the pocket, which he almost never is, it's going to be a long day. Atlanta's defense should be better because they got a pass rusher, but I don't know, man. They're going to have to prove it to me. I'm going to take those 3.5 points and count on Pittsburgh. If they lose this one, they're going to lose it by 3 or somehow 1 point. I don't know how they do it, but they'll lose a lot of games, 22-19, a lot of 20-19 or 21-20 games. It's just how they do. But I'm taking the Steelers on this one. This is going to be my first lock of the week.
Oh, yeah. Almost. It's been so long now. We've been going. I forgot about locks. I need a lock of the week, too.
This is only the 4th game we've picked, so we got 4 more to go. We're not going to do all of them, y'all, but we're going to give y'all our 5 locks of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to make this my lock of the week, too, but I'm going to go the opposite way on you, Ace. This is another hard game. Because the thing is that I really, y'all guys, anybody who's been listening to this podcast last year and the year, even the year before mine, I do not trust Russell Wilson at all. I'm sorry, I do not trust him. I feel like he fell off. It's just me, maybe. I don't know. Everybody else, put him up there, think that he's going to do good. I think he fell off, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. It's not been changed yet, but I really, unfortunately, I also feel that this might be Mike Thomas's first year of him being under 500. But I don't think he's going to get fired for it because the thing is that the owners in Pittsburgh, I'm just putting this out there. I think the owners that with Steelers, as you can see, they don't run around, going from coach to coach like every other team. It's quite a long staple in there. But as far as for this game is concerned, like I said, this game is another hard game to pick because of Atlanta on the other side. You got Kirk Cousins coming off of Achilles, just like you were saying earlier. You got these band of misfits that's around them and a good running back or whatever. But I think they can put things together for at least this game and stuff like that. They might can build on that stuff. And if I could, as a Jets fan, if I could believe in Aaron Rodgers, 40-year-old ancient, mummified behind, can come back from Achilles, maybe be a good quarterback or a working quarterback. I think the same thing can go for Kirk Cousins, the Mr. Moneymaker. That's how I call him because he knows how to swindle teams to give him money. But I'm going to take Atlanta on this one. I'm taking the under in this one. First lock of the week.
All right. Next up, we are going to Jacksonville at Miami.
Oh, yeah.
An important game because both of these teams are expected to make the playoffs in the AFC. Jacksonville did not last year. They took a step back after winning a playoff game against the Chargers. Miami finally made it to the playoffs and almost won their division, won 11 games the first time in a long time. They paid Big Tua a bunch of money, and they lost a couple of guys on defense that were kind of key. Christian Wilkins is gone. They still got Tyreek Hill. They still have Jalen Waddle. They lost Mike Gesicki. They're going to have to figure it out on offense with the new tight end. They got all of their running backs back, Achane, and Mostert. So we will see. Jacksonville, to me, is the shakiest team. They lost Calvin Ridley after they got him for the cheap. Didn't know why they didn't re-sign him, but probably going to go.
Is that rookie they got? I forgot to do his name, but he's on my fantasy team.
On Jacksonville.
Yeah, on Jacksonville. He's going to be the number one receiver.
Well, I thought it was Christian Kirk who they gave all that money to, which seemed kind of crazy to me, but that's another reason why I don't believe in them.
You don't believe in Christian Kirk?
Nope. Travis Etienne is the best thing going for them. The chosen one, as you like to call him, got his huge contract off of one playoff win, which seems very Daniel Jones-like, but what's Jacksonville going to do? Like, they waited to get Trevor Lawrence. They got Trevor Lawrence. You got to pay Trevor Lawrence. Maybe they could have saved some money by paying him early. Hopefully the salary cap goes up and just don't handicap him. I don't care because I'm not a Jacksonville Jags fan. They got a lot to be positive about, but Miami's about to win the state championship, and it starts with beating Jacksonville at home. Give me Miami. I'm going to lock that one in for my second lock of the week. Miami's beating Jacksonville on their road back to the playoffs and likely winning the AFC East division. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I'm with you with Miami, but not with the AFC East division. They ain't winning nothing. They want to be third place. But I'm taking Miami for this game. Whatever they're gonna blow the roof off of Jacksonville this one. People forget about how Miami was last year. Miami's a good regular season team. They can actually have good games where they'll blow people out by 40 points. And I think this might be one of those games. So I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take the over this one. They're going to destroy Jacksonville, even though I do like Jacksonville a little bit, but not for this game and maybe not for a couple of other games as well down the road. They got those two speeds of receivers, whatever, and everything's going to go perfectly fine. But Miami needs to run into a heavily strong defensive team, the Jets, and Quinn get them behind smack, and that's going to remind people of how they lost last year because they couldn't speed run past everybody. But as far as for this game, I'll have to take Miami. They had perfect time to game plan for Jacksonville. Take that over because Miami's prone to do that type of game, especially the day at home.
Mm-hmm.
Things gonna be bumping. Everybody's gonna be excited, whatever. And all the Miami fans, I already seen them before because I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that. But even with Miami YouTubers or whatever, and the fans coming in there and whatever, they're all gonna be all hyped when that game comes in. So definitely take Miami, take the over. They're gonna be exciting. They're gonna be running up the score this game. And that's gonna be my second lock of the week.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to the first 4 o'clock game, Denver at Seattle. Seattle is favored by 6 points at BetMGM, 5.5 on FanDuel, 6 points most places. The over-under is pretty low at 41.5. Denver is a road dog by 6 points to Seattle. Seattle has a new head coach. I do not know that man's name. There are so many new head coaches I'm genuinely forgetting, but most importantly, I do know all the players. They're going to need Jackson Smith and Jigba to take a step up and Kenneth Walker III to take a step up. If Denver has another losing season, it's spelling bad news for Sean Payton. Because if he can't improve after last year, after benching Russell Wilson, because he was brought in to fix that situation, after they gave him all that money they were going to pay him for this year, and rather than ride it out with Russell, he went and got another quarterback. It better work with Bo Nix. It better work with Bo Nix. Honestly, I did not see him as much of a pro prospect, but I hope it works out for him. I did not see them winning this game, but I can see them covering. Their defense looked atrocious in the preseason from what I saw from the first team snaps and what I've heard about that team. He's made it into the Saints West, and he's made it into his own image. And then they're playing in Seattle, great home team advantage. Geno Smith, third year they're starting, won 9 games last year. I think they may challenge in the NFC West to actually be number 2 or possibly even win that division. It's a crazy division this year. We will see. New head coach finally moved on after Pete has been there for 14, 15 years or even longer. But I'm going to have to go with Denver winning this one. I think Denver's going to cover. They're going to keep it close, but they're going to lose. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't believe in Seattle's defense. I just don't see it happening. I know they got Leonard Williams, but I can't name another pass rusher that they have.
Wow.
I can't name another defensive end or another back. And they finally had to move on from their guy last year who came back after going to the Rams after 2018. Bobby Kendricks, linebacker who had been there since the Legion of Boom days in 2017, but it's 2024, 7 years later. So I think Denver should cover, but we will see. That defense is not exactly where it should be, but we will. Hopefully, they'll have some hope. Two bad defenses, though.
Well, the only reason I was saying wild is because I was about to come off. I was going to start saying that I got the crazy pick going out here because I thought the safe bet was in Seattle, and I thought that's what you was going to go for. But I'm actually going to go for the same exact thing that you're going to go for. I could literally show you. I'm not thinking off your paper or whatever. I literally have this thing circled over here. I got Denver Broncos on this one, and I don't know if you noticed in Malik's fantasy league, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have 4 quarterbacks now.
You have 4 quarterbacks.
Yes, I picked up Bo Nix.
Why?
Because the thing is that there was some reports about this. They was talking about this maybe a month or 2 ago. That Bo Nix is literally Sean Payton's quarterback. And that this is the guy that Sean Payton wanted. He figured that Sean Payton feels that he can turn him into Drew Brees 2.0. So I heard that there through the grapevine quite 2 months ago. I sat on it and I said, you know what? I'm not even going to try to draft him. I'm going to try to leave him there, whatever. And hopefully I can pick him up. And that's what I wound up doing. So now I got 4 quarterbacks. And Malik's league is a dynasty league. Hopefully that, Bo Nix pays down the road. But I think we're going to see if everything's going according to what I saw from before from that video, whatever. But they was talking about this. Bo Nix is going to shock some people over there. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to put the opposite on you, what you were saying about, I believe you were saying it earlier about Sean Payton, we might be out of here, whatever, if they don't really do well this year. I think the owners and stuff like that know that Sean Payton wanted to change things around. And when they saw how last year things wasn't working well, he didn't work well with Russell Wilson. So I believe they might actually give him some more of a chance to stretch this out. But anyway, back to the game itself. I'm definitely taking Denver. You mentioned it earlier. Both of these teams have bad defenses. Bad defenses mean the over, in my opinion, when it comes to this. Yes, I'm going to go against Seattle. Yes, I'm going to go against the 12th man. Unfortunately, Pete Carroll is not there no more. We don't know what this new guy can do. But, until he proves himself right now, got to bet against him. Sorry, Geno. Taking Denver and taking it over.
All right. It's just more, they run a 3-4 system. And
right.
It's Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, who's their first-round pick, and Jonathan Hankins, who was good.
That's Seattle, right?
And then that's Seattle. And he moved over from the Giants, and he was much, much better with the Giants. But his position doesn't really get a chance to get too many, sacks. Boye Mafe is the guy who's out there getting the majority of the sacks. He had 9 last year. What are you going to say?
And you just saying that 3-4 defense. I didn't even think about that. That even scares me even more right now because Seattle's, I believe, they was more known for a 4-3 defense.
Correct.
The only reason I'm saying that is because the Jets run a 4-3 defense, and I know Saleh used to be basically worked with Seattle and stuff like that. It's basically almost the same type of thing. You run the old Seattle defense over with him. Yeah, that's kind of scary going from one defense last year, 4-3 to 3-4. Yes, good defenses can easily switch that way, whatever. But I think there's some transition time or whatever, because you also got to think about the linebackers and stuff like that. Quite 4-3, I believe they have to have bigger linebackers and stuff like that. What a 3-4 has a shorter, smaller, faster linebackers. I don't know. Maybe Quay Malik might correct me out later on, quite in the next podcast or whatever like that. But yeah, I don't trust Seattle right now. I think they're in the transition phase. But anyway,
Interesting game on the next one. Las Vegas at the LA Chargers. I'm finally saying that right. They are no longer in San Diego. They're the LA Chargers. Wholly made over their team. The only wide receiver they have left is Josh Palmer. They still got Herbert. And the Vegas Raiders are going with Gardner Minshew, which is kind of wild. They still got Devontae Adams somehow. Huh?
That just says it right there. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah. But they got Joey Bosa. They got Khalil Mack, my guy. They got rid of Austin Eckler. They drafted Blake Corum. I don't really know who their starting running back is going to be. I'm not really sure on that, but it can't be much worse than it was last year. They fired their head coach. Nobody was really liking his calls, and Mr. I forgot his name, Brandon something, but they thought he was a genius. He was a defensive coordinator in LA. They got him up out of the paint.
Does he even have a job now?
I don't know. I'm not even sure. I think he's just taking time off. He's living out the rest of his contract that they're paying him. And then they hired Antonio Pierce, who was a great motivator, and they got Mr. Decipher Your Signals, Jim Harbaugh in there. Jim Harbaugh is a good coach, but I just don't think they have the talent on offense. So I am picking the Las Vegas Raiders to win this as my third lock of the week. Take the over. The over-under is 40.5. They still got Max Crosby. They drafted Brock Bowers. I think they're going to use Bowers and Michael Mayer as a double tight end set, along with their wide receivers. They finally got rid of Hunter Renfrow, moved on from him, and got some better wide receivers in there. So they got Jacoby Myers. They got Devontae Adams. I forgot who their third wide receiver is, but they got enough. They got rid of Josh Jacobs, and they brought in Aaron Jones. So this should be interesting to see how this goes for them. But I like Vegas. I like their whole team. I like their attitude. And I like the fact that they brought back the interim coach to keep some consistency and actually give them a chance. And I think he's going to get them into the playoffs this year. I think that's going to make a huge, huge difference. They drafted some good old linemen too, so that should be helping. So lock in the Raiders. They're going to take this one. And who you take?
As for me, I'm going to go the opposite way until he proves himself this year. I did like him last year, don't get me wrong, but to me, he has a big gaping hole in this team. And the gaping hole, quite the letters start with the Q and ends with the B, the quarterback. I do not trust the quarterback. I'm sorry. I think what's his name, Devontae Adams is going to blow it up before the end of the season. Once you get traded out of there, for some reason, I think this team is not going to do that well. This is going against quite Jim Harbaugh, I believe, is not Jim Harbaugh. Anyway, I'm going to go with, I don't want to waste anybody's time with my soft brain type of system where I keep forgetting names. But anyway, I'm going to go with Chargers, and I'm taking the Chargers in this one. Make this my third lock of the week.
Hey, Gardner Minshew had 3,300 yards last year, 3,300 passing yards, and 15 touchdowns, 9 picks in 17 games.
Gardner Minshew, to me, is a good relief pitcher.
Well, him and Aiden O'Connell got a lot of starting practice last year, so these are guys that have had a lot of reps and has had a lot of chances to start and had a lot of chances to play. He was on the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl in 2022, so he's been on a very successful team, so he may know what it takes, and hopefully he's implemented some of that stuff that he learned from sitting behind Jalen Hurts. And now, one of my favorite games, which is definitely going to be the national game, you get your guy, the nasty man, Deshaun Watson, at home hosting the Dallas Cowboys with that contract. I mean, he's just a weirdo, but whatever. We've kind of moved on at this point. He's just trash now, so we need to see. People keep saying this is the worst contract in football because it's unmovable, and I'm like, I don't know if it's unmovable.
I think he reworked it.
No, but he makes $35 million a year, right? So he's making more this year.
Right, but I think he did rework it a little bit.
But considering Tua makes $55 million, he makes $20 million less than the highest paid quarterback, and he's your starter. So you have a quarterback that's supposed to be good locked in on a discount. So if he actually plays up to his potential, or just plays as well as Joe Flacco did last year and can stay healthy for the entire season, Cleveland should be an amazing team. They do not have Nick Chubb yet, whose knee was destroyed last year against Pittsburgh in that game. Unfortunately, they got Jerome Ford still. They have a pretty good couple of other running backs. They got rid of Kareem Hunt, so he is no longer there as a backup.
Another unemployed NFL player, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yes. But he's gonna get picked up. Somebody's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get picked up. I could see him working out real well in Baltimore. But Hill played really good tonight, so I wouldn't expect that to happen. I'm going with Dallas. I think they're going to crush Cleveland. Cleveland has one of the best defenses in the league last year. I think that's going to continue. They were able to hold opponents to a lot of close games, and they actually were able to get into the playoffs in that 7th seed. So that was a huge step for them. But give me Cleveland. They ended up losing to Houston, which is kind of wild. But I'm going to take Dallas in this game. I think they're going to have another 11 or 12 win season. They're in a pretty easy division. First repeat champ in the NFC East. It's either going to be Dallas or Philly. And I think Dallas just has an easier schedule, and it's going to be the start of it. So lock in Dallas plus 2.5 on the road in Cleveland. Pretty good weather, no rain, no wind, none of that. 70 degrees. Get in.
Yeah, Dak Prescott's going to be proving that he deserves to get a new contract. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going with the Cowboys as well. I do not believe in Cleveland Browns right now, but I think I have a small feeling that Deshaun Watson might actually come back a little bit towards his former self this year, maybe a little bit. But just like Russell Wilson, I put him in that same Russell Wilson boat. So you never know. Back and forth. Let's see what happens on this one. I'm just talking in the air right now. But if I'm going to get on Russell Wilson, I'm definitely going to keep on get on Deshaun Watson as well. They both got to be in the same boat there because they both kind of suck in my opinion right now. But anyway, I'm just rambling back and forth just to spread time. But I'm definitely going to go with the Cowboys on this one because the thing is that they got the better team. They got the quarterback that should be getting paid. He's got to prove it, whatever, to his owner for some strange reason. But give me this as my 4th lock of the week.
Okay. I'm taking Dallas as well, and I'm also locking in Dallas. I don't know if I said that. Next up, we got the Rams, the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions, a rematch from the divisional round. What was the wild card round? From the wild card round from last year when they had to beat their old quarterback. LA does not have as many answers on the offensive line. Detroit is fully healthy, I believe. They have a much better defense, another year older. A couple of linebackers they drafted a little bit better. Their secondary should be better. They brought back that safety who had gotten away, Gardner Johnson. I do not know if he's healthy again this year, but I believe he is. He got hurt last year. Detroit should be the better team. It opened up at -3.5. It's -4.5 right now. They beat LA by 3 points at home in the playoffs. I think they beat LA by a touchdown this time. They have a clear number 1 wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. The other roles are set, and they actually have a healthy year out of that rookie from Alabama from 2 years ago. So we are going to see if he can just be the home run hitter they need and have him just run a couple of 9 routes and light them up. Goff has the protection. LA, Puka Nacua is already hurt, so that's not a good sign. Cooper Kupp is healthy.
No, I thought this series was okay though.
He's probable, but he's working through an injury. So I don't love that, but hey, listen, he had a great year last year, set a rookie record. But I don't expect that. I don't expect him to be a huge factor in this game. Detroit's a really good team, but they know how to put up a lot of points. Give me Detroit. I'm locking them in as my 5th lock of the week. That is my final lock of the week. Detroit over LA by a tutty. Over-under is 52.5. I think it's going to be a little bit under that. Kyron Williams is expected to return kicks, so I think that might tire him out, but we will see. Yeah, Dan.
I'm also wait, you said you got Detroit, right?
Got Detroit by a touchdown.
I'm taking Detroit as well. I'm taking Detroit and the under in this one. I think this is definitely going to be a good game. And I think Detroit, if they're smart enough, I'm talking about the ownership part, not the team. They should piggyback off of what happened with the draft by bringing in Eminem. I wouldn't be surprised if Eminem shows up. Quite bumping his game since it's supposed to be the Sunday night game. I got Detroit in this one though, and I'm taking them. And like I said, in the under in this one, I still, for some reason, I think that the Rams is going to be good this year, and I think Puka's going to do a thing as well. But this might be the year for Detroit to at least get to the NFC championship. But as I said earlier, I have the Eagles actually making it to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I did say the Eagles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did say the Eagles. Just making sure I had that there.
that's right. Puka Nakua does not have an injury. He does not have an injury designation. And their third
See,
quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo
for the Rams.
for the Rams. They got Kyron Williams, Ronnie Rivers, Cody Schrader. Yeah, and they got a bunch of rookies on the defense, like a lot of them. Cameron Kitchens, who was really good out of Miami. A couple of defensive ends from Florida State and a defensive tackle. Jared
Man,
Verse,
Jimmy
I think,
fell
was their
off.
first overall pick. Jimmy's in the league still, so Jimmy should be happy. He's in his 11th year, and he's still got a job. So he's still
Well,
working.
Deshaun Watson still got a job too, but still, they fell off. He fell off too.
Yeah, that's fair. Monday Night Football. That was Sunday Night Football. I think that's going to be a really good game. That might cause everybody to be late on Monday. But Monday Night Football, the Jets opening up at San Francisco. San Francisco make it back to another Super Bowl. A lot of people have them as their dark horse picks to come back and beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl. I don't think they're getting back. Somehow they found more money to pay every single person that held out in the offseason, who Brandon Ayuk held in, made it super awkward so you get his money. So shout out to him. Leonard Williams finally got paid. So I drafted Brock Purdy in my fantasy draft. I believe in him. But the Jets defense is tough. Over under in this game is 43.5. And I'm going to go first. I'm going to take the Jets to cover here. I think San Francisco is susceptible, and I think their corners are going to be way worse than they were last year. They still have who I can't say the guy's name, Wafanga, the safety, who's nasty for them. But I think the Jets have enough on offense, and they should be able to. They should be good. San Francisco has a really good offense, but I think their defense is falling off enough that the Jets are going to be able to attack them, and they're going to have Brees Hall all year, so they should be all right. So I'm taking the Jets to cover, plus 4.5. Give me the Jets.
Obviously, I'm going to be taking the Jets because I'm a Jets fan and I'm not depressed yet. So I'm a little happy here. So I'm definitely going to take the Jets. Taking Aaron Rodgers, I have to pray that he gets past four plays. Everybody keeps talking about these 4 plays type of thing. As soon as he makes it to the 5th play, maybe I'll be a little bit happier. But I'm definitely taking the Jets. I'm taking the under in this one. I think this is going to be a good defensive game, but I still think the Jets are definitely going to win this. It's really nice that for San Francisco that they did got all their players back. They got Trent Williams back. They got who's that dude that was holding out? But anyway, you had all their holdouts that came back. The only holdout that's out there right now is on the Jet side was Hassan Reddick. But big ups to him. Let Hassan Reddick relax until maybe week 9 or whatever. They can come back in, get paid or whatever, and we make our push to the playoffs with them. But as far as we're right now, taking my Jets, taking the under, make this my final lock of the week. Go Jets.
How much faith do you have in this team's offense?
Oh, I have plenty of faith. Not only we got Brees Hall, we got the rookie backup running back. That's why I drafted this dude. That dude is a monster. I forgot that dude. I forgot what this guy that running back name was on the Giants. That was big as hell. That was destroying people a long time ago. But he reminds me of him.
Okay.
Yeah, he reminds me of him. The thing is that Brees goes down, this dude will pick it up and do the same exact thing.
Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs, yeah. That's who this dude reminds me of, Brandon Jacobs.
He's 260?
This dude is big. I don't know how much he weighs.
Brandon Jacobs was like a linebacker. He was like 6'4", 260, which is crazy.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up after we're done with this. But this dude was big when I was seeing him on the camera, whatever, next to these other players, whatever. He's tall, he's big, he's bigger and stuff like that. But anyway, we got him. This is just definitely gonna be a good running team. We stole 2. I was telling you this earlier off camera. The Jets stole 2 offensive linemen from the Ravens, and I think that's going to help out. We stole what's the name, the left tackle from Dallas. One of the best left tackles in the game. He does get injured a lot, but we did drafted a good, one of the best, in my opinion, best rookie left tackles in the draft to back up just in case this dude is doing good in camp. Plus, if you look at the offensive receivers beyond G5, we also got what's the name, Williams from that used to be the Chargers, and we also drafted a good slot corner as well. And funny enough, that just because Aaron Rodgers is back and quite things is getting rolling, you even had Alan Lazard actually quite taking himself seriously again. He's not just mailing it in. This dude who's actually doing good in the camp. So we got basically almost 4 or 5 players deep as far as wide receivers go. I even believe in tight ends as well. But this is definitely a good team. It's a very scary team, but people are sleeping on right now because just because they're the Jets and this is Aaron Rodgers, whatever. He's quite 90 years old and quite ankles made out of oodles and noodles and stuff like that.
The man is almost
good.
50.
Yeah, the man is almost 50. Santa Claus age and stuff like that. Beard around the corner type of thing. Quite like I said, pancake syrup for ankles and stuff like that. But yeah, they seen that him as the quarterback. They bought it. They ignored the whole team itself, and they basically label, it's just the Jets, whatever. If you take the Jets name off, you put something else on, people start paying attention to the actual team. Quit not only on offense but on defense. You got Quentin Williams, you got CJ Mosley. That people when CJ Mosley used to wear purple, people used to be afraid of him and stuff like that. Used to put fear. People used to put respect on his name. Now you got the green and white on. People don't do that anymore. We got Sauce Gardner and stuff like that. We got even we literally got the best nickel cornerback in the NFL. He's literally ranked #1 in almost all categories. But anyway, let me start hyping up my team, whatever. As you can see, I'm a fanboy. As everybody can hear, I'm a fanboy on this thing. But anyway, like I said earlier, I'm taking the Jets. I'm just going to take the under since this is the first game that happens. Every team's got to still feel everything out. And this will be my last lock of the week.
What does the Jets' success land on for this season? Is it the offensive line? Is it one unit? Or is it just overall health?
I think it's going to be overall effort right there. But of course, the nation is going to be, the national media is going to be more focused on Aaron Rodgers and saying that it's because of him. Yeah, he might be the glue to put things together, but I think it's going to be the overall type of thing. The defense has been locking that down for the last 2 to 3 years. People have been sleeping on them, don't really realize it. And this is even before Hassan Reddick comes in. The Jets literally have way more pass rushers than people think. And we actually have some good what's the name, undrafted rookies that's doing their thing as well. We'll see what happens.
We will see. We will see. All right. Before we get to our shout outs, I just wanted to give y'all my college picks real quick. I got Clemson minus 16.5. They're hosting Appalachian State. Appalachian State is a good team. I have no idea who was on that team. They kind of play a certain way. Clemson got blown the hell out by Georgia last week. It was a very disappointing game to watch if you like Clemson. I'm not a huge Clemson fan, but I do believe that pretty high talent level. Cade Klubnik is a scrub, so they should be pretty good. Tennessee has probably the best new quarterback in the SEC. They're paying him a bunch of money, so it should be worth it. Nico Iamaleava, very cool name, kid from Southern California. They're minus 10 at NC State. Wolfpack are pretty good, but they're not that good. They're still an SEC team. Kansas, minus 5, going to the Big Ten. Illinois, Brett Bielema. They just play hard-nosed, super hard-nosed football. Kansas has a really good offensive line. They got a really good running back and a really good quarterback. Former head coach of my alma mater, University of Buffalo, just known as Buffalo. Kansas, I think, is going to scrape Illinois. So those are my three-game parlay for y'all this week. Clemson, minus 16.5. Tennessee, minus 10. Kansas, minus 5. I'll cook that up for y'all. I'll be posting some other college football picks, but that's all I'm going to go to on the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at the uptownparlay.com. You'll see some more picks. And I was very dead on when I told y'all, bet against Temple. You can bet against Temple pretty much all year. That team was lucky to get a field goal. I do not know how bad. They might be the worst team in college football. I do not see them winning more than 1 or 2 games. And another bonus pick, Boise State is getting 21 points at Oregon. Oregon does not look great. They have a brand new quarterback. We will see how it goes for them. They've lost a lot of talent. They were really, really good. I do not see them pushing to win the Big Ten this year. That is obviously going to be Ohio State. But I don't think that Oregon is going to be able to cover against Boise State. Boise State is probably going to be the Group of 5 representative. If they can pull off this upset, it will definitely be the G5 representative in the college football playoff. I'm really looking forward to that because they're going to have 12 teams this year, so we'll actually see some pretty good playoff games for that. And are you ready for your first shout outs of the NFL season?
Yes, I definitely am. I'm just gonna make one quick shout out, then make my other shout out. My first shout out is gonna be to Hassan Reddick, whatever. I know people quite you got some fans that is a little bit upset at you, but quite not one of them. Get your bag, whatever. Hopefully, I do want you to relax and wait your time and come in later on down the road because I don't want teams to be quite trying to get used to seeing you on this team yet. I want you to be the cherry on top going into the playoffs. So shout out to you on that one. Just gonna keep that on the side. But my main shout out is I mentioned him earlier. To me he's the best. Well, he is actually statistically the best slot corner in the NFL. Michael Carter, shout out to him. He just got his extension, 3-year extension for $30.75 million deal. With this, $19 million guaranteed. This dude is like I said earlier, he's the number one slot corner in the NFL, number one in total yards allowed, number one in total receptions allowed, not allowed, of course. Number one in yards as for stat, number one in stats per reception, number one in penalties allowed as well. First in penalties allowed as well. This dude ranks number one in almost all categories. In the slot, I'm glad. I was really worried that he might end up not re-signing with us. We had to start all over again. The only thing I have to worry now is to see how these other guys like Sauce and stuff like that signs up because their contracts are coming up as well. But as of right now, shout out to Mark Carter. This dude deserves it and stuff like that. And hopefully he keeps on pushing on that. That's my shout outs of the week right now. Oh, shout out to Bill Belichick. This is a weird one. Shout out to Bill Belichick because he actually said he's actually praised the Jets. That's the only reason I'm shouting this dude out. He's kind of funny now that it's kind of weird, just like Tom Brady. For some strange reason, Bill Belichick is getting a little bit cool to me just because he's no longer with the Patriots. But anyway, shout out to him a little bit too.
You don't think Bill Belichick's giving y'all a little rat voice and talking y'all up, so y'all are gonna fall and feel too good about yourselves?
No, I don't think it's like that with him on that one. He actually realized he knows the Jets actually got some good talent on there, whatever. And he has no quite. I don't think he has any animosity anymore. To me, I think he's just in retirement. I don't think I'll be shocked to see him coming back in the NFL next year.
Shout out to the 4 best reporters that I read every week: Jim Trotter from The Athletic, Dan Wetzel from Yahoo Sports, Frank Robinson from Yahoo Sports for the NFL. I think he does some fight stuff. Or Frank Robinson, good Lord. Charles Robinson, what am I talking about? And from ESPN, Pablo Torre, from Pablo Torre Finds Out. I love that podcast. They're always throwing something new at you. But shout out to the vice president of content, or the former vice president of content for the Washington Commanders, who got set up by these people from the O'Keefe, I don't know, some kind of gotcha kind of journalism guy used to work for Project Veritas, got caught on video saying something wild about his employer, talking bad about the players, saying Jerry Jones was racist and homophobic, and most players are homophobic, and just going off and just talking trash about his employer. Worst second date of all time for this guy. I don't know why he was talking about himself so much. I don't know how he got caught out there. This woman got him on a hinge date, recorded him, and now he's out of a job. He's been doing this for 14 years, so shout out to him. Hopefully he'll find a new one. I don't know what the dude was thinking, but I guess, this isn't really journalism. We're just kind of recording him, just trying to bust him, make him look bad. The Commanders fired him already, so it's going to be a tough year for you, homeboy. You've been working in sports and media and content for a long time, so it's going to be a tough one. I don't know your name. Hopefully people in the industry will forget long enough so that you can get another gig. I genuinely feel for you. It's really fucked up what's going on. But the situation, the only funny part is like how he just got caught with all the crazy talking about himself and all of that. But I guess it happens. People get caught out there. So be careful. Be careful who you're talking to. And I guess, trust less people. I don't know. The world's a crazy place. We'll see. My Super Bowl prediction, I'm going to give them next week after the first week of games so I can get a gauge of how good I think these teams are going to be. But I think my dream is going to come true. And yeah,
Oh,
that's our shout outs. What's up?
wait,
Shout out to Caleb Williams for leading us to the playoffs in his first season.
before you hit the shout outs, I just want to make one more shout out. Over the off season, off time, whatever, I want to give a shout out to both Michael Hawley and Michael Smith for Brother from Another. I didn't even know that show was they ended the show back in June or whatever. I was wondering why, because the things that I have so many YouTube channels, and I didn't see them in a long time. So I wound up searching them the thing last week or whatever, trying to see what happened. And I found out that it was the last show, but I believe they ended it on their own. It's kind of messed up and quick that these things keep happening, whatever. But I know they might make their own podcast some time down the road, somewhere away from NBC maybe. Just like how Shannon Sharp and all these other people have been doing themselves. But anyway, shout outs from them. Brother from Another was definitely a damn good show. I'm gonna miss that. But anyway, shout out to them. 5 seasons.
Yeah, man, that was a good show. I enjoyed listening to that. It started up right before the pandemic. And Peacock had them on every day at 3 o'clock. But you know, Peacock did pick up, which I'm really enjoying. Probably my new favorite show for the past 2 years. Actually, even before that, I used to listen to them when it was on ESPN. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu guys. Those guys are really funny. I enjoy them. That's part of the reason why I wanted to make my own show and do a podcast. So shout out to them. Those guys motivate me. I'm a big fan of theirs. I'm gonna keep 100. I love the stat of the day and all of the silly shit that they do up there, and it's really funny. So shout out to them. And shout out to Rich Homie Quan and his family. I hope they're dealing with everything well. We're gonna be out of here. Hopefully these picks come through for you. Follow my college picks. I've been making money off of those for the past couple of years.
One in the books. Peace.